Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Hoth Off the Press. We are a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes news show made by the fans for the fans. And today's episode, we're going to be talking about all the hot button issues of the week, and there is plenty to talk about. We're going to be talking about territory wars and what we saw out of CG there. We're going to be talking about the Sith raid and how CG's new motto is "It's Nerf or Nothing." And then on top of that, we're going to be talking about the meta report and also channels and videos specifically that we've seen this week that have been fun. So when you're done watching this content on this channel, you can go ahead and go over to those other channels and check out those videos. And of course, always in the description below, you will find links to all of that. So let's just go ahead and dive right into the news this week. And this week, we are going to start talking all about the meta report. Curiel, what did we see?
Yeah, Matt, Dad. Shakers and movers. We got big falls and big gains. Right now, we got Thrawn up by 1%. Is there a little sly thing happening there? There's something going on with Thrawn and his leadership. I might touch on that a little bit later. Big fall. GK, the best tank in the game, is down 6%. I think everybody knows why. Because GK is a Jedi, and he doesn't play nice with Palpatine right now. So GK, he's either getting moved out of the teams, or he's getting moved out of the teams on defense if they know that they're in a heavy Palpatine shard. So GK, big drop. Palpatine lead obviously moved up 2%. Nihilus gaining 3%. That's Palpatine's buddy. Vader, he went up 1%. RD2 lost 3%. That's actually going to be a tough one. We can probably theory craft on why that one happened. I'm not exactly sure why R2 is going down so fast. Han Solo didn't move. JTR lost 2%. But that's just not as a leader. She's literally overall, she lost 2%. BBA also lost 2%. And CLS didn't move, which is actually pretty surprising to me. I want to bump it back over to you real quick. I want you to kind of maybe give me some insights on what you think about these moves.
All right, so of course, the first thing that we have to talk about is the fact that we're just talking about the characters here. Okay, so this isn't talking about the leadership or anything like that. So the big shakers and movers that we saw here. So we saw Nihilus, we saw Vader, we saw Emperor Palpatine, and we saw Thrawn all gain big increases. Things that kind of stood out to me as surprising is that Scion wasn't on that list. So maybe people haven't seen how great Scion is yet, or maybe it's because they're hesitant because they don't have the 7-star and don't want to invest in him too heavy at that low star count. The other thing that kind of stood out to me is that we didn't see Trooper make big moves, at least on the top 10 of things. So again, that's kind of a little bit odd. Maybe it's because everybody's still farming up their troopers. I know I personally am. So that's very likely. The decreases that we saw, I think, is basically R2-D2 was in 2 teams. He was in the Titans team, and he was in the Tide team, or My Two Dads, or whatever you want to call it, the JTR-led team. JTR, of course, was on a decline at 2%, so I think that that's pretty telling as far as what we can expect. Let's go ahead and throw it back to you, Curio. What did you see out of the leaders, or for that matter, do you have anything to add on those characters? Any surprises? Anything that stood out to you as kind of like a really important part?
So we saw Rex make a climb, and obvious being obvious, Rex is just he's gonna be the stopgap in any meta change, but especially in this meta change because he's not only clearing debuffs in a heavy debuff meta, he's also providing tenacity up, which he's really gonna be a great addition in your lineup against this heavy meta team, especially if, ooh, baby, you get a Wampa on your team. There's some ridiculous teams out there. There's the Mother Talzin Wampa Rex lead. Just really fun teams that you can play with Rex as leader. But like I said, he's a safety valve for the meta, so he's going to be there to stop anything getting out of control, and he's doing his job. So that's why he's going up in the meta report. The leadership portion of these meta changes is really interesting because you're seeing a leadership character, Palpatine, who has one of the easiest access points in the game. You just have to have 5 rebels and you can unlock your 7-star Palp, right? And pretty easy to gear as well. Now, on the opposite end of that pendulum is JTR. She has the highest requirement threshold to unlock in any character in the game. Now, super interesting that the easiest character to unlock is kicking the crap out of the hardest character to unlock. So this is gonna shake up the meta, obviously, and it already is. With the JTR and BB-8 event out, we are gonna see more unlocked characters across the galaxy. Unfortunately, bad news on the horizon. They might not be a big help.
And I couldn't agree with you more. Now that we have to start talking about it, and we're alluding to it so much, let's just dive right into that what we saw this week. We saw the return of JTR and BB-8 at the same exact time. So we had a 2-day notice, which not so great. I think a lot of us that were planning to get JTR were kind of caught with our pants around our ankles going, maybe this is a little bit early, CG. We were expecting, another month at least, if not 2 months, to pick up these characters. The other thing that I saw a lot on Reddit, a lot of the commentary coming from the players, is that they were upset that they didn't stagger BB-8 and JTR like they did with CLS and R2 the last time that CLS returned to the game. They didn't stagger them as far as here's BB-8 this week, and then like either later on in that same week or just the following week releasing JTR. So that way that gives that time to that player that wants both of those characters to have time to gear up his BB-8 to put into the event to go up against JTR. So you not only had to be prepared with the 5 characters, and you had to be prepared with Finn, R2, and the veterans, and then you had to gear up a BB-8 on top of that in order to be ready for JTR, and you have to do it in 7 days. Is that asking a lot? I'm not going to say that it's asking too much, but on the other hand, it's also, I see a lot of players that are upset with it, and I think they're valid. Not that I'm entirely ever shocked when Reddit's upset about something, because that almost never happens. But in this week, we definitely saw Reddit a buzz and a flame about the release of these characters, again, 1 to 2 months early, again, on top of each other. So to bring it back full circle, let's go ahead and let's talk about what we saw out of other content creators this week.
Yeah, no problem. What we were alluding to earlier with the dour news, DOUR, of finally releasing the Kraken of JTR and BB-8. Like you said, we go through so much to get these characters, and you're thinking, oh man, I own my shard now. Unfortunately, we saw out of Cupfights Han. He made a video with Arnold showing basically his tag team running offense against Palpatine and the Nightmare team. And the reality of it is it might not even be a 50-50 fight, guys. You might be the underdog on offense with JTR against Palpatine and the Nightmare team, which is very discouraging, I know. The video was great. It was really showcasing both sides, but literally to beat that team, he had to put in a god mod on BB-8 to even make it happen. And unfortunately, if you're going through all this trouble to get JTR, to get BB-8, you want to feel like you can punch through walls, and it's not going to happen in this meta as it currently is presenting itself. So that's kind of that was the video I saw on Cup Fun. That was really it just it did a great job of showcasing what that matchup is. The other video that I found that was very pertinent, obviously because we're dealing with territory battles and the dark side territory battles, is I wanted to figure out how to do the bounty hunters special mission, and I found a gem. It's an oldie but a goodie. It's from February. It's by Sir Gorgeous, but I'm just gonna call it like what it is. The guy did a great job of breaking it down. What team you should be using? What are the gear requirements? What are the skills that are important in the special mission? And he literally broke down who to kill first. What does this enemy do? And it's totally digestible. 20 minutes. Run it in your background while you're trying to do your special mission. And you're going to have success. I will be exclusively using his video on how to build my bounty hunters team. Then we have some more exciting news in regards to content creation, and we have a new game changer on the scene. The guy's name is HalfFace01. He's making content right now. We want everybody to kind of get on board and see what this guy's all about. We're going to put in the channel in the description below. So let's throw it back to you, Mad Dad. Let's talk about everybody's favorite subject, the Sith raid. So there you go.
And in other news, we have to talk about the Sith raid this week. Obviously, Reddit was pretty upset again because we saw heavy nerfs to JTR, the exposed mechanic specifically. So we had to get a lot of very angry and vocal people to continue to shout people out. If you get the opportunity and watch last Wednesday's RSG stream, Curiel and I were on the show, and Ranger was very vocal about these nerfs. So if you're looking for more content that you can just put in the background, maybe you're going to go work out, you're going to go do something, you're stuck in a car, like commuting, it's great just to put on RSG and listen to some content. With that, again, though, we saw the nerfs JTR, so the community was in a big uproar about it. They're sitting there, they're saying, oh, we worked so hard to get this character, and now she doesn't even work in PvP because you guys buffed up Emperor Palpatine, and now she's not working in PvE either, or at least not as well as she should be, in our opinion. And CG, we saw CG Top Hat release a really lengthy commentary about it, and he, basically said this is what we felt was too strong, why it was too strong. I'm gonna be honest with you. After I got into two paragraphs of his very lengthy explanation, I was like, TLDR, closed out. Because he really got into the details. For those of you that aren't aware, we will put a link down in the description to that to their website, to where Top Hat is talking about it on the forums. Not only did we see that people were upset about the Sith raid, but people were also upset about this whole other thing called territory wars. Maybe you've heard about it. In essence, a couple weeks ago, CG decided that they were going to fix territory wars. Guess what they didn't fix? Territory wars. They fundamentally broke it. We saw some personal problems with it in the aspect that people were getting horribly mismatched. They were setting up the matchmaking, and one of our guilds in FTB had to go up against a 55 million guild that had 55 million more than they had in galactic power. So that kind of tells you that they broke their game with the matchmaking. That's super unfortunate, and everybody was very pissed off. And it seemed like at the beginning of the week that CG was like, it's working as intended. Sorry. And then by the end of the week, Rydiggs came out and he got on the forums and he was conversing about it, and he said, "Okay, well we're gonna deal with it." And by the end of the week, they had turned around from saying working as intended to we're reverting it back to the original way it was. Here's 500 crystals on us. Enjoy those. So yeah, I think that's ultimately what we saw is that the community got upset about territory wars, and they had every right to be. And hopefully, as we're ending dark side territory battles and we're transitioning into territory wars this week, we will see that it is all done.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. So here we are, guys. We're two dads waking up at 5:30 in the morning to deliver you guys content while our house sleeps. We're not doing it for the money. We're doing it for the fun, and we like to talk to each other, and we like to talk to you. So if you have anything to add to our content, please comment below. Please like us. Please subscribe to us, because all we are is trying to talk with fans that act like us and talk like us, so that we can up our fun in this game that we all love. So from Kirill and Mad Dad, thanks guys, and we'll see you in game.